Welcome to the nation's capital. I'm at the National Gallery of Art because I wanted to see how some very famous paintings maybe could be paired with some wine. Well, let's see what I come up with. Stay tuned. Welcome to this week's episode. What a wonderful time I had at the National Gallery of Art, especially in the Spanish section. So there I was looking at El Greco's Laocoön. The painting, as you'll see in the notes, I put the link below, just this twisting, turning, and you just know he wants to explain that this whole Trojan horse is not what it appears to be. And then I thought, I think I have a wine at home that reminds me something like this, again, from a very famous Spanish artist, Goya's The Prisoner. And this is the wine I was thinking of. It's called The Prisoner, and it's from Orange Swift Cellars. And it was made by Dave Finney back around 2000 or so. And he came up with a way of really capitalizing on the Zinfandel grape. Again, this is a grape that I guess is very hard to tame, and it twists and turns. You have to really work on this wine. It's not easy to manipulate and make taste delicious, but Dave Finney found an affinity for it, and he really captured it and turned the Zinfandel grape from Napa into now a very cult status wine. And I can tell you that every time I served The Prisoner to our friends and family from way back in 2000 and maybe 8 or 9, they just loved it. And every time they shared it with the friends, they got hooked on it. So it's just one of those wines that it may be a little difficult to get your arms around because it's so powerful. But I have to admit that the 2018 one that I'm reviewing right now is just probably one of the best ones I can remember. It's soft, subtle black currant and fig. It's not too tannic. It has a nice cedar. The acidity, the body's not too heavy. It's not too light. It's, I'd say, medium and a little bit more. It's going to be great if you're thinking of like, oh, Trent, I'm just dying for a barbecue dinner or some grilled steak. Wow, this wine I think you're going to like. Now, keep in mind, in our show, we try to do anywhere from the $15 to $50 range. So this wine is at the top of the $50 range. It's, if you can find it at Trader Joe's, which I've seen at Trader Joe's, sometimes in the $40 to $45 range. I've seen it at Whole Foods. I've seen it at my local grocery store, right around the $50 range. So if you have an event, maybe a gift for someone who likes powerful red wines, or maybe you think, I want to try some red wines that maybe aren't too tannic. Believe it or not, this may be a strong wine, but I don't want you to think it's too dry. I think you're going to win a lot of people over, especially if you have it with the foods that I had it with, which was some barbecue food. I had it with brisket and some ribs. Oh, wow, was it delicious. It just really made everything work together. So Dave Finney still has his Orange Swift Cellars, but he sold this label to the Constellation brand, and they have it now, which isn't too important other than they still make fantastic wines built on the Zinfandel, and believe it or not, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Syrah and Petit Syrah and Corono. It's interesting that you think like, well, those are some strange varieties of wines that are put together, but you know what? Blends are very, very popular in the world of wine. Think of like Bordeaux or Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Those are all blends of very different grapes, all put together to create one delicious wine. So blends are great. You don't have to worry like, well, is it just one grape? Don't worry about if it's one grape. If the winemaker thinks a blend is great, I think you should try it. So this wine was sort of based, I think, on Dave Finney's belief that, when all the Italian immigrants came to the Napa Valley and they wanted to mix all of these grapes together from their, at least get close to their homeland wines, I think he's tapped into something, and that's why it's been such a runaway bestseller. So if you get a chance, look for The Prisoner. And it should be, again, like I said, at your local wine retailer. It could be at Total Wine and More. It's also at Whole Foods. And I even found it at my local grocery store and even Trader Joe's. And I think you're going to be very, very happy with it. So look for The Prisoner. Sure reminded me of El Greco and, of course, Goya, The Prisoner. And I think it just sort of is one of those wines that Zinfandel can sometimes be a little bit unruly. But when it's properly contained and turned into a beautiful wine, that's what The Prisoner is all about. So let me know what you think. Thank you again for being such loyal subscribers, sharing my channel with your friends and family and coworkers. I sure appreciate it. Until next time, everyone, cheers.